Although Google Plus is only 6 weeks old, the social network has tried very hard to prove that it is a viable player in the social space. And to Google's credit, the launch of the service was successful, with people scrambling to obtain invites and getting involved instantly. The network received 10 million users in just 2 weeks and is now said to have well over 20 million users. And based on these numbers, the service appears to have made a good impression on users. And WebPro News recently spoke with several search and social media leaders, and they too seem to be impressed by Google+.
My first impression, I was very optimistic about it. Something about the user experience, the ability to segment was interesting to me. And I found that this intersection between, or maybe it's not even an intersection, but the short form of Twitter and the longer, a little bit longer of how I use Facebook, the ability to include media and that sort of thing was really interesting to me.
Only techies and marketers are using Google+.
So when it first launched, my impression was nice site. I don't know if it's going to stick. But what I've seen since then is the growth of the site and the community that's there has been incredible. But it's still a very early adopter crowd.
Personally, I love it. I'm not a big Facebook user, so Google Plus came out. It gave me somewhere to do the Facebook thing.
One thing in particular that was interesting, I did finally share a blog post. I finally shared something. Hey, someone was picking my brain, which isn't my favorite thing to do because you don't get paid. But they were picking my brain. I thought, how can I get value out of this? So I live blogged, or I blogged my answer. The free information I was giving this company. And so I went to a Google Plus and I shared that context, and then I shared a link to the actual blog post that was a result. Lots of traffic, I mean a lot of traffic came from Google Plus to our blog.
Well, my first impression was that Google Plus is a little bit more of a private version of Facebook with a better UI. So as soon as I logged in, I'm like, hey, this looks like Facebook. Hey, this has a social stream, just like Facebook. Hey, this has conversations and the ability to comment on others' updates, just like Facebook. But the big difference is it seems to flow a lot nicer. I really like the ability to control who I'm sharing information with. And I think what Google Plus has given a lot of the social community is the ability to reset. Because when Facebook first launched, a lot of us were just adding anyone. And now with how Google Plus has come along, not only do we have the ability to filter who we become friends with, but we have in the sense of circles, but we also have the ability to think twice about who we want to connect with within this new social platform.
My first impression of Google Plus, I love it. And I must admit, I got on like June 28 or 29, just as the door was opening for invites. A friend of mine sent me an invite, and I was really quite excited. I was watching the buzz build up, and I jumped in, and I just had that visceral experience that I had back in May of 2007. And I was saying to people, oh my God, I haven't been this excited since May of 2007 when I first joined Facebook. So my first impression, really beautiful interface. Love the circles, love the interaction. But somehow, I mean, a lot of these people are the same people who are continuing to be active on Facebook and Twitter, but there's like a different vibe inside of Google Plus. So people are being more, not sort of more authentic because they're authentic, but they're much more giving and more generous. They're more open. There's a lot more sharing and more thoughtful conversation. And a big part of that is the design of the interface, because we're not limited by characters.
The early response has been so positive that it seems that Google has finally made progress in the social space. And it's no secret that the search giant has made several unsuccessful attempts in social, but this time they appear to have gotten it right. Google Plus contains many similar features to Facebook and Twitter, and has even capitalized on the shortcomings of these other networks. And what's more is that it has created a new type of social experience that users are gravitating toward, which Steve Rebell of Edelman explained to us.
I think that this is the first entry that they have that is really serious, that I think people are really using a lot. I mean, I'm using it a lot. People who are on it are really engaged. The team that is working on this has been incredible in responding to user comments. I mean, the executives are hosting hangouts with users. They're answering questions. The full product team and the product managers are very heavily engaged. It's a very open approach that I wish others would take.
this is a much better attempt at social media. But I just don't think they're answering what is the value proposition? What do I get from Google Plus? Where in Facebook and LinkedIn, you have to be real in order to get that connection. So I have to be Leanna Evans if I want to connect with my high school friends or in college. At Google Plus, I have people just adding me to circles. I don't even know who they are and what is the value for me creating these circles. There's no intrinsic value there for me, where there is with LinkedIn or there is with Facebook at this point in time.
Well, because the rapid growth of Google+, people are already speculating about which social site users will abandon for Google+. And in a recent interview with WebPro News, tech analyst Rob Enderle told us, quote, "There is an opportunity here for Google+ to do to Facebook what Facebook did to MySpace," end quote. And Facebook does seem to have responded to Google+ by releasing group chat and also a video chat feature as part of a partnership with Skype. In addition, it unveiled Facebook's guide for businesses shortly after Google shut down all business accounts. So should Facebook and the other social sites be worried? We'll check out what our experts said on this.
I don't think Google Plus will kill Facebook going forward. I think Facebook will still be very strong, probably the strongest player in that market.
I really think that, like with Google deals and the old Latitude check-in that Google had put out, and everything from a Places perspective, and merging all of those into Google Plus business pages is going to be huge. And I think that is what can give them a competitive advantage over Facebook, because it seems that Facebook is still kind of playing catch up with Foursquare in that respect.
So one of my impressions when it first launched was I don't see it necessarily siphoning users away from Facebook. And I still believe that. I still think that it's the people who are on Facebook and use it daily like it, or at least they pretend to like it. And I don't see them kind of making the move away from this towards Google. But I do think the early adopter crowd particularly likes it a lot, and they seem to be it's a very engaged community, and people are doing some innovative things with it. So I think there's no doubt it's going to be a strong number 3 or number 4. And remember, LinkedIn is still number 2. But whether it goes mainstream, I think the jury's out. I don't see that happening so fast.
I think Google Android has a market share now of over 50% of active smartphones. So the ability to integrate Google Plus into the mobile and the Android system is going to be massive. And again, it almost gives them the same advantage that they're currently getting with Gmail penetration. People that already have accounts that can easily be transitioned into this new social network.
I do not think that they should be worried. I do think that at some point in the future, it could take a little while, but at some point Facebook will quite possibly lose their spot as the number 1 social network. They'll always be a powerful social network. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we look at MySpace, but I really do think that, and MySpace is coming back, all due respect. It's not like it's gone away. It's getting new blood in there. It's revived and revamped. But I think that Facebook is a very robust. I think their position as number 1 is not locked in set in stone. Google, the very size of this behemoth, with the Android being the top smartphone with a huge array of Google products already in existence. I mean, most people are going to use Google as a search engine. Obviously, you've got Bing with the partnership with the Facebook and Microsoft. That's, I think if Facebook could just, launch a powerful search engine, that would be fierce competition right back at you, for Google. But I don't think, and Twitter, Twitter's had some management problems, I know, and the product could use some improvements, but quite frankly, Twitter is phenomenal.
Twitter as a platform has a place that's extremely effective from a personal standpoint, but certainly from a marketing standpoint. Short form messages are effective. And the syndication that happens, the propagation that happens with Twitter is very different than the closed sort of situation that happens with Google+. Google+ is all about Google. It's not about propagating externally so much, whereas Twitter is completely wide open, right? So I think there's only so much time in a day, and people will spend more time on Google+, but I don't think it's going to kill Twitter. I don't think it's going to kill Facebook. And if Twitter and Facebook are smart, they'll find ways to somehow work together.
Well, in spite of all the praise surrounding Google+, the service is not exempt from problems. For instance, a lot of users were upset that the service launched without support for many Google apps. And there were also privacy concerns with photos being made public and Google pushing to make everyone's profile public. And the lack of a business option has also raised some red flags, as well as the fact that many user accounts were deleted in an effort to fight spam. So there are definitely ways that Google can improve its service to make it more appealing to users. And based on our feedback, these changes will help Google in its efforts in social, search, local, mobile, and more.
I'd like to see easier external sharing, easier promotion outside of Google Plus itself. Some people are using Google Plus as a blogging platform, almost like Amplify is, sort of a creation, curation hybrid, and I think that creates a lot of value. So rather than purely relying on Google Plus as signal to elevate social search results or just social sharing within Google itself, I'd love to see better and more effective integration with Google Plus and its ability to propagate elsewhere on the web.
Right now, I'm having a very difficult time with Google Plus in terms of my personal Gmail account and then my app's Gmail account. I was shut out, and a lot of people I know have been shut out of Google Plus through their Google Apps account. And for example, when I log into my Android phone, I log into it through my apps, my Blue Glass account, right? And then I have a lot of my personal settings in my old Gmail account. And really, Google being able to find a way to converge the two and let me, it goes back to the circles, right? So the ability to split the personal connections and the business or commercial connections, or even select who's going to be into both, is key. And if they can do that with my personal Gmail account and then with my apps account, that's going to be fantastic.
I would like to see probably more ways to logically share. Like right now, if it's not intuitive to share, other than the Google Plus button. It's not really intuitive to share. And if I want to share with people, it's just not as easy as it is on Facebook or Twitter. So there has to be more ease. It can't be as complicated.
It still needs a lot of work. The mobile experience is horrible. You can't reshare posts. You can't reshare posts. You can't plus comments. I don't think you can edit your comments. So I think the significantly improved mobile experience has to come along. I'd like to see Hangouts move beyond 10 people into kind of more broadcast options, and I'm looking forward to the launch of the business features. But this is all. It's understandable that these are baby steps. Google has not said this is a fully baked product. They've said it's a field trial, and so patience is a virtue.
Well, the one thing I haven't really talked about is the integration of Google Plus into search. So that seemed to be a lot of the initial buzz around the influencing of search results. I see it being more as the ability to have your search results catered specifically for you based upon your circle. That's something that I want to see a little bit more of in terms of the integration in the search results, being able to pinpoint the recommendations through different circles. That would be highly beneficial.
So it looks like we have to play the waiting game to find out what improvements Google will make before it opens up the social network to the general public. But one thing that is clear is that Google is in the social battle and is serious about becoming a giant player.